It's not what you write.
All right, let's hear from Dr. Eseli. So this is turning out to be a very expensive affair as it is right now. And a country where we're trying to instill austerity measures, it seems then we're speaking from both sides of the mouth as it is. If going by what we hear that, yes, all these expenses for people to attend in the rallies are actually, you know, are covered or they're being paid by the taxpayer or at the end of the day.
I don't know about that because I attended the Kakamega rally and I didn't receive any money as such.
Yeah.
However,
so where are we getting this information? However,
I would like to say that if these people are being paid to attend those rallies from government coffers, that's a lot of money. And I guess the government has the money, but then who is this one paying for accommodation even in Naivasha, which is equally expensive? Is that the government also, or is there somebody who has as much money as the government?
Aaron, you want to respond to that?
That would be very...
No.
Let me finish.
Let's go round.
I'll rejoin them. Okay, finish. All right, thanks.
Let me finish. However, I still insist that this new attitude in politics, the intolerance, my way or the highway, is leading us to dangerous grounds, because we need to realize that if we are doing this indeed for Kenyans, and this for both sides, we need to actually put the Kenyans in front rather than individuals, because all of them, whether they deny it or not, they have a focus on 2022. That's where we are focusing. And I think, I said this on this program some time back, that when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. But also when they make love, the grass also suffers. And this is a situation where, I think two elephants are fighting, the BBI one on one side and now the Tagatanga team on the other side. Those are two elephants fighting, the grass will still suffer. Now when the grass suffered again, when two elephants made love, was the handshake. When two elephants made love, the grass still again suffered. So I think we are having a situation here where we are losing sight of what really ails Kenya and what we need to do to correct things here. To the extent that even now, as we sit here talking, we are not talking about graft anymore, the corruption and so on, and we are not talking, it's been sidelined. We are not talking about the locust invasion, which actually is a problem, a serious issue.
Yes.
We are not talking about that. Our minds have been diverted to something else that probably by the end of it, when the locusts have eaten everything up, then that's when we will wake up and realize, oh, we don't have any food anymore. And then there's these reactionary activities. You know, this happens and somebody reacts to it like what Kinabone Khalwale tried to do in Mumias, with a lot of propaganda involved. It's not of any use, because when I look at the people attending that Mumias meeting, actually some of them have been part of the reasons why those institutions have failed. Some people who actually supervised the failure of Zoya were actually in that meeting. And you know, failure of Zoya was very interesting. When we, the leaders of Bungoma, insisted that we get a good MD to run the place, and we actually put a good MD who was actually chased out of office by the directors. The directors again appointed by Jubilee, and some of them were in that meeting in Mumias. I find it very interesting, this kind of reactionary whatever, pretending to be closer to the people, yet you are part of the cause of the problems of the people. I don't think that's the right way to go. And in the long run, everybody, we are going to start exposing some of these people, because it's not good to keep on pretending that we are doing things for the common Mwananchi when you are actually part of the problem. You are not part of the solution, and you just use it as a way of drumming up public sympathy. I guess that's a political strategy, but it's a political strategy that leads to nowhere, and that's why Kenya is where we are now. We should be much better off, but we are not, because of the kind of people that lead the conversation in this country.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, a lot of issues coming up then. How are we funding this BBI rally? I think that's a bigger question that we should be deliberating on as well, even moving forward, because we're going to have a lot of them. I don't know, this will be coming to Kiambu as well, including hotels, you know, around the country as well, not only just in Naivasha, but also in Mombasa. And many more even will be coming to Kiambu. Let's just hear from Otende Amolo, then we'll deliberate also on what a pivotal point he raised, and I think maybe you'll pick up on it, about ODM having their own agenda to try and quash. I think this is or have a proposal to repeal the County Government Acts 2012 and replace it with Devolved Government Acts and Regional Public Service Act. It's all about the regional or the third-tier government as it is right now. So is it particularly intent, you know, the agenda?
That is not worth responding to.
It's not
because
worth responding.
there's no document like that. That is cheap talk. Those are proposals that come from some of the meetings until they are crystallized and reduced into a document. We can't talk about it.
But
because somebody has made a proposal.
They purport to show the intention, even if it's a proposal.
No,
yeah, the intention
listen,
of.
Listen, Dibal, let's be fair to ourselves. We've only had 3 meetings. We are supposed to have about 12. In each of those 3 meetings, different regions have made different proposals. You cannot take any of those proposals and call it the ODM proposed document, like Boni Halwale is doing. That means, first, you are belittling all the other meetings that are yet to be held. Secondly, it means you are brighter. I mean, you are like God himself, who knows eventually what will come out of a process that is being undertaken. I think let's deal with the real issues are there. And let me start from where Aaron left. Dibal, there are a lot of reckless statements that have been made in this show. And I think, you know, you need to tone down this. Otherwise, we'll all become like a joke. Like Aaron, when every week you take an issue with the media, then the problem is not the media. The problem is you. And when, like today, the 2 leading media houses, you are challenging the Standard, you are challenging the Nation, you are challenging the writers, you are calling Anthony Gitonga as Jacob Ngetich as people from Rarieda who've done the story on the Standard. I think that's really cheap, and it's unfortunate. You should not allow this kind of thing, okay? It is clear, and there's no way all these 4 writers could have got it so wrong in so many pages. I think the bottom line of this is as captured on page 4 of The Nation. If you look at the first line, under the one political muscle, they said this is the beginning of the end between the 2 leaders. Yeah, and that is the president and the deputy. We've realized that joining the ongoing BBI rallies is suicidal to the deputy president's political future. That is the bottom line. And that is what the Naivasha meeting was about. That is what these parallel rallies are about. And then Aaron tells us they are not parallel, they are complementary. That's a distinction without a difference. And that's all we will say about that. Secondly, you hear Aaron make a fundamental statement that all the MPs who attend these rallies, they are given 100,000, their airfare is paid, their hotel is paid. You know, it is really unfortunate, because when you say such things, you ought to be prepared to back them up. I can tell you, I attended Kisii, I attended Kakamega, I've attended Mombasa. I have not received a single shilling from anyone. And I can tell you for sure that to the best of my knowledge, all the ODM MPs who are attending these rallies have not received any money from anyone. I use my own resources to attend those meetings. So to sit here in a panel and allow reckless statements like from Aaron like that, without asking him for the evidence, is to belittle us and to mislead people very dangerously. Because it's not fair to incite people to believe that, like me, I attend those rallies because I'm paid some money, whether it's from the public coffers or from anyone's pocket. The answer is no. And to the best of my knowledge, all my colleagues don't receive any money. And I think what's easier is, when somebody makes a statement like
just
that,
a moment,
you give them 1 week, you tell them next week.
It is you who just say we go sequentially,
yes.
Right? Yes, and I want we go sequentially, then we go to Aaron Chirot and ask those questions.
Dibal,
yeah?
I'm responding to all the issues. That's how we move on this one.
Yeah, that's how we move.
We are not going
so that
issue
now
by
everyone
issue,
has equal time, and I'll come to Aaron Chirot. Could you just go sequentially? Then we address the issues that he's raised. Of course, these are things I've picked up here, and we're bound. And that's why we said we are drilling deeper and questioning about even the findings and what he's saying here. Haven't I just said that?
That's only one issue.
Yes.
You know, we usually take all the issues. I have 4 more issues now. When you go back, will I also address all the other issues that were raised, including whether it's a constitutional convention, including the organization of the meetings? I think I am posting this so that you note them. When you come to
Yeah, I have them all
you
here.
You can summarize.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's what I'm
just try and
to
summarize
do.
so that everyone has also
Now,
equal time. Because now if you go through all
the
these
third
points,
issue.
it will be now unfair to other panelists as well.
You know, that's the tragedy of having many panelists, because by the time it comes to you,
No.
you have so
Everyone-
much. But let me explain
Everyone has
this.
the same
The third thing, how are the meeting organized? Now, Dr. Halwale says that they should be what we are calling a constitutional convention. Actually, they are not. And I think that's why you have a problem with it, Dr. Halwale. These are not meant to be a convention. This is a public participation and validation exercise. First is validation. We need people to agree. And many of you have now agreed that you support the BBI report. That is validation. Then participation is where you now take the further views. You put them together, and then you'll determine what to do with them. Now, the way it's been organized so far, I think is quite fair. In Kisii, they had a meeting of delegates at the Kisii Sports Club. Then later they went to the rally at the stadium. In Kakamega, I think they had that meeting a week earlier, is that so? In Bungoma. Then later they went to Buhungu. In Mombasa, they had the delegates meeting in some other hotel, something Waters. Then later we went to Wild Waters. Then later we went to Mamangina Drive. That is the way it should be. Because you have delegates who then tell you what they want. Whether what they want tallies with the rest of the country or with the technical aspect is a different matter. But then once you've taken the technical, now you come to the more public one. You give the memorandum, and then the memorandum is transmitted. What is important in all this, I think, is that we should be honest with ourselves. The first question is, do you genuinely support the BBI initiative? Forget about the report. The initiative or not. If you support the initiative, then the second question is, have you read the initial report? And do you have meaningful inputs that you want to give? There are two ways. You can choose to give those inputs quietly because you've read it, or you can choose to participate in the meetings where you also listen to other people give their views. And that is what is happening. Now, personally, I have no problem, and that's what I told Aaron. I have no problem with anybody holding other meetings to validate and to participate and to contribute, provided we don't make them clash, we don't become violent. But what is important, I think, is that we should all realize we don't have time. If we mean well that we want to have a new constitution that addresses some fundamental issues, we don't have time. We can't go beyond August or September this year. Otherwise, we are now starting to cause a more dangerous thing as we move towards 2022.